I'm Chance.
And I'm Sarah Catherine.
And this is Conservation Connection,
presented by Last Chance Endeavors.
We are a husband and wife team running a wildlife education nonprofit. It's focused on connecting students to their environment.
Each week, here on Conservation Connection, we do just that, introducing you to the groundbreaking science and conservation work that's happening every day across the globe.
We talk to professionals in the world of conservation science and wildlife management, and we ask them about their career,
their current projects,
their wild and crazy stories from the field,
and everything in between.
This episode is a collaboration with EarthX here in Dallas, Texas.
EarthX is the largest Earth Day celebration in the world, and it brings in speakers from every corner of the environmental arena.
Listen in to hear the stories of today's environmental titans, covering everything from environmental law, ocean health, renewable energy, clean transportation, and so much more.
Let's get to the show.
Alrighty guys, welcome to another episode of Conservation Connection. We're here in Dallas, Texas for EarthX 2022, sitting in the EarthX podcast studio, and I am super excited. This is going to be a very different, really cool episode for you guys today. We managed to grab off the floor Ross Mason, who is the Vice President of Content for EarthxTV, and he's agreed to kind of give us a little top 10 rundown of some of the programming that you can find on EarthxTV right now.
Yeah, welcome to the show, and go ahead and give us what is number 10.
Hey, thanks for having me. At number 10, the 10th most popular show on EarthxTV right now is a show called Forces for Nature, which celebrates human accomplishment for our planet. And what we did was we interviewed a couple of real characters who have, remarkable experiences. The first was Ben LeCompte. He's a world-class swimmer who swam the Atlantic Ocean. He actually swam for 80 days and 300 nautical miles. He swam through the Pacific garbage patch of plastic, and he witnessed firsthand what's happening in our ocean. And by doing this, he brought a lot of awareness to the fact that plastic is really hurting our oceans greatly. The other episode that's really cool is all about the grandson of Thor Heyerdahl. Thor Heyerdahl in 1947 built his own raft out of trees and sailed it across the Pacific Ocean. And his grandson, now 50 years plus more, later, actually built a Viking ship completely out of wood. He didn't even use all kinds of mechanics. It was built by hand.
That's
incredible. And then he and his crew sailed it around the tip of South Africa. And by doing all of this, what they were trying to do is to bring appreciation for what life is like on this planet and how to best use it.
Yeah, I mean, humans are metal, they can do incredible things when they put their minds to it. And so using that to bring attention, bring awareness to environmental issues that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's number 10, I already have so many questions. I'm already let me go watch this show. So I can't wait to hear the rest. Give us number 9.
Well, number 9 might surprise you.
Okay.
We actually recognized that faith has a role in the environment. People's religious perspective or spiritual connection to the planet has a role in how we treat the environment. And so we've created a whole series called Faith is Green. It looks at the lens of various faith and belief systems and, how those systems explore the environment, what everyone individually, regardless of their faith, can do to better take care of the planet, and what they can do every day.
That's awesome. We got the opportunity to interview Chief Tashka of the Yuwanawa tribe while he was here at EarthX, and the way he spoke about how their spirituality connects them to the land that they're on, and that's why they fight so hard to protect the indigenous lands in the Amazonian rainforest. It was super cool.
Yeah.
I have so many questions that I want to ask about each one, but if we do that, this will be a 6-hour episode. So hit me with number 8.
Number 8 is actually from a conference that we partnered with an organization called Foundation for Climate Restoration. And they put together a series of talks with experts highlighting advances in things like carbon removal from the atmosphere. an entire industry. And so they go through all the industry and what's happening with it and how that is becoming a very popular and effective way of dealing with too much carbon emissions. So they cover the challenges, the opportunities, but they talk with the leading experts actually doing that work today. So it's kind of a talk show. It's kind of a deep dive into some of those issues. But if you're interested in learning what's happening to solve the problems of the planet, this is a great show.
It sounds a little bit like a TV show version of some of my favorite podcasts where they just get to deep dive really into these issues.
That's right.
That's awesome. Well, let's move on to number 7.
Number 7. So population is a huge issue. Our populations around the world are exploding, and it's having an effect on the environment. We will be close to 9 billion people over the next 50 years. And so the planet is being impacted. The show is called The Population Factor with Professor Phil Cafaro. He's a world-renowned expert on population and the effects that it has on the environment. And so he brings on guests to talk about how population is affecting climate change, wildlife preservation, immigration policy, and consumption patterns.
That's a really important topic to have a conversation around because easily the number one thing that you can do that's going to impact the planet is the number of children that you have, right? Each person is going to have a lifetime of choices and consumption that they are involved with. So really at the core of our environmental question is how are we going to deal with human overpopulation?
That's right.
All right, hit me with the next one.
Number 6. I love this show. It's called The Road to Glasgow. And it was a window in time throughout the year of 2021. There were so many major conferences and gatherings of really important people around the world. We sent our hostess, Shona Smith, who actually is from Scotland. We sent her around the world to each of the major events taking place throughout the year that would have a shape and influence on COP26, which is the largest climate conference that takes place every year. It's sponsored by the UN and took place in Glasgow, Scotland last year. So Shona interviewed experts, leaders in policy, all focusing on how will these things change the world that we live in.
I'm amazed, honestly, how you truly are the VP of content. You know all of this stuff and how you keep it in your mind. I just don't know. But with that, we are at our top 5. So give us number 5.
Number 5 is a very action-based show. If you love the outdoors, if you love South Africa, if you love wildlife, you're going to love this show because it's with Ivan Carter. Ivan Carter is a conservationist. This show is called Conservation in Action. He actually goes out with conservationists. They work with the animals. They deal with the issues. They focus on tracking. They help the animals. And they do the hard work that it takes to preserve a lot of these animals and keep them from going into extinction.
So if you're listening to a podcast called, Conservation Connection, and you're interested in these issues and you want to see them happening in front of you, this is a great show to watch.
It's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're so excited coming to EarthX this year. We saw Ivan Carter on the speaker list and we were like, oh man, let's get him on this show with everyone else we're recording here. And, fortunately, he can still be here, but virtually. So we aren't able to interview him in our time here, but hopefully we'll get to interview him virtually or maybe in person at some point. And if we do, you will hear more from him on this show.
I can actually explain why you're not able to interview him right now.
Is it because of you? Is he recording a show?
They are busy producing season 2.
Dang it.
Oh,
and so
awesome.
We're real excited about what they're doing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm so glad there's more content for that coming down the pipeline. Okay. Number 4.
Now we turn to everyday lifestyle. Interior design is a huge industry, and how you can choose products that are sustainably designed and respect the environment is what this show is all about. It's called Chez Laurent. Our host is Lawrence Carr. And she is an expert, a design specialist, and she interviews manufacturers of furniture, textiles who are showing circular, regenerative, sustainable practices. And it's really cool because if you have an appreciation for design, if you like furniture, if you like household items, or even items that go into workplaces or sustainable hotels when you travel, she covers all of it. And it's really well done.
Yeah, well, I can tell you a lot of my friends love that sustainable design. They go antique shopping. Most of their home is furnished with older items. And for our listeners, we did actually get Lawrence Carr on the show earlier this week.
It was such a cool episode.
Yeah, so who knows when we'll release that. It'll either be before or after this episode, but be sure to look out for it. All right, number 3.
Number 3 is, the ocean, we've mentioned it, is extremely important. So we created a series called Our Living Oceans. And to do it, we were very fortunate to be able to partner with an organization called the Khaled bin Sultan Living Oceans Foundation. And Khaled bin Sultan is a prince from Saudi Arabia who had a huge yacht. He's done a lot of diving over the years, and he's watched the changes occurring to the coral reefs around the world. And so he dedicated his yacht, his personal yacht, for science. And they had an exploration that went around the world, and they mapped all of the coral reefs around the world.
Wow.
And so this information is now being used by scientists and by researchers all around the world to better understand what's happening to the ocean so that we can do things to protect it and to restore it.
I'll be honest, I have followed them for quite a few years. And, I don't know how we haven't watched more EarthxTV and how I didn't know that this was a show that I could be watching, but I am very excited to watch it.
It's awesome because in all of their explorations, they had filmed what they were doing. And so we have underwater footage of all the scientists doing the work. We have underwater footage of the prince himself actually swimming with the sharks and exploring the wildlife conservation issues in the ocean.
What a perfect way to pull together such a series, to have that bank of footage to look at it as it changes.
It was amazing.
That's
it was
awesome.
Really helpful.
All right. Oh, man. If this is what it's been so far, I cannot wait to hear number 2.
Well, and number 2 is not surprising. It's kind of an adjunct to Ivan Carter's show because his daughter, Brooke, is 10 years old.
Aww.
And she, too, is a conservationist. So this show, coming in at number 2, is called Kids in Conservation. Brooke Carter goes out. She travels across Africa. She works and she learns with experts teaching her on wildlife, what it takes to protect, biodiversity. But it's really cool because she goes out, she interacts, and she works with the giraffes, the lions, the chimps. She discovers what a pangolin is and all kinds of things that kids will enjoy, but adults also.
That sounds, very familiar, obviously, to Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter. And that's who I grew up with. And that's what inspired me as a child. So I'm personally excited to watch this show. And if I was a kid, I would be very excited to watch this show. So I'm not surprised. That is number 2.
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for.
Number 1.
The most popular show on EarthxTV right now is...
El futuro del planeta.
El futuro del planeta.
El futuro del planeta. So obviously with this list, it demonstrates that we have the opportunity to cover such a wide range of topics and issues that are really important. And that's what's exciting. We're also able to go internationally. And so by focusing on Central, South America, they have some of the most important issues to deal with related to the environment, related to the ocean, related to wildlife. And so this show concentrates on that regional area of the world and its unique issues and covers with experts things like air quality, deforestation, the coral reefs, pollution, food distribution, and health. And so by looking at solutions in this particular region, we believe it not only brings greater awareness, but it also might bring light to how similar solutions could be used across the world.
That's really cool. And we are going to rely on you. Let's see, we've checked Lawrence Carr off this list. We've had her on the show. So now we're going to put you to the task of introducing us to the rest to get on the show.
Absolutely.
We have had a great time interviewing you today, hearing about the top 10 episodes. Hopefully our audience has enjoyed it. We genuinely appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you. And I would like to just emphasize, EarthxTV is an app. You can download it to your mobile phone. You can also use it on any connected TV device. And so please download it and watch.
So we're going to put some links in the show notes so that you guys can see how you can access this content. And, I don't know if your next hour is free, but maybe pick one of them and watch it.
Yeah.
Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Conservation Connection.
If you enjoyed our podcast, go ahead and subscribe to make sure you catch every episode that we post.
We'd love to hear from you. So if you want to reach out, go to our website, lastchanceendeavors.com/contact and shoot us an email.
We love questions from our listeners, so if you heard something that you want to know more about, be sure to let us know.
If you've got a minute to spare, leaving a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts will help other conservation-minded people find the show. We'd really appreciate it.
A big thanks to the people working to protect our planet, and a big thanks to you for listening. Don't forget to tune in next week.